Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chizzy. I still need a producer named Beats, and I want to welcome you back to my channel. In this episode, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make a wavy beat like Pierre Bourne for artists like Playboi Carti, Young Nudy, and even Drake on Pain 1993 using free stock plugins, VSTs, and drum kits only. Free. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and start off by going into my Labs piano, which is a free VST, and start off by building chords because that's really the core of everything whenever you're making a beat. So I'm going to start on an A, and I'm going to go up 3 notes, and then I'm going to go up 4 notes. And this is how you make a minor chord. So to sauce it up, I'm going to make a 7th by going up 3 more notes. So that's really how you build a minor 7th chord. I'm just going to invert it to give it a nice deeper sound to it. And I'm just going to go off and start building chords, and there's really no science to this other than like the placement of a minor and a major. You just have to do what sounds good to you. It takes practice. So I'm just going to go ahead and just start doing this. Yes, I'm moving this quickly. No, I'm kidding. I've sped this up. But when I'm done, I'm going to explain to you guys all the notes and stuff like that. So that is the pattern that I came up with. So if you look, I'm just going to invert the chords and count them. So like I said, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And then of course I have the same chord. So then the next chord is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And the next chord is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that top note is just an octave of the bottom note. So now that I have that, I'm just going to use the Control B function and just copy it over. So now I have 8 bars of that same chord. And now I'm going to layer it up by going into Citrus and using the harpo piano. Sounds like this. Assigning the other 2 instruments to tracks, mixer tracks, and copying and pasting it over. So I'm just going to do some work on the mixing of that harpo piano because like I like it, but it has some harsh tones to it. So I'm going to use an EQ to cut out the low ends and the high frequencies, and just really, there's not a science to EQing. I mean, I guess there is, but you have to do it to whatever sounds good to you. So now that I'm done with that, I'm just going to go back into Citrus and find some ambient background noise. I like this plugin called, this sound called Amy Lee, I guess. I'm not really sure how it's called, but I'm going to go in and just follow the top line of the chords that I already have. It's just something nice in the background. It even kind of sounds like a voice. But this like ambient sound is really necessary to have whenever you're making a Pierre type beat. And I bet y'all are listening to this like, this just sounds nothing like Pierre. Just wait, we're gonna get to it, okay? Have faith. So now that I have my background figured out, I'm just gonna render it into an audio file and drag it into our playlist and clip off anything past that 9 bar. It's just not necessary. So now what I'm doing is that I'm making this a unique sample by saving it as whatever name I choose it to be. And now this is where it becomes a Pierre type beat. Y'all hear that? What I did is I just clicked on the audio file and clicked reverse, and I reversed the chords, and it sounds like this. Now this is more something you would hear from Pierre. And I'm just gonna lower the pitch by 200 cents. And I think this is where I really like it at. So now that I have that, I know that's going to be my background noise, and I just need to delete my Labs piano. Well, you don't need to. I just do because like it takes up a lot of CPU, and I like to save that CPU for other stuff. So now I'm just going to go in. I am going to be adding a vocal to it. So this is just to add more like to the ambiance. So I'm just going to lower it by 200 cents and reverse it because why not? So I'm gonna add some effects to this box because like it's just too dry in terms of it doesn't ring out after. So I'm gonna have to add some reverb and stuff like that and delay. So I go to Free Delay Bank, add reverb. And it sounds so much better. So now that I have that, I'm just gonna go into Edison and record this all together. Now I'm done, I'm gonna send that to the playlist and delete everything else I have. And now I just have this nice continuous background. So now I'm just gonna start adding my drums and melodies because I can't just have that background going for the whole time. So before I get to the melodies, I'm gonna go ahead and add a clap just so I get a bouncy feel to it as I go. And I'm adding the clap to the 3. So now I'm going to go into Flex, and Flex is a free VST that comes with FL, and I'm just going to use the tags function to look for something in my favorites that I would like to use. Something bright, soft, and a lead, and it comes up with this. It might sound like, how is this going to work? But like, trust me, you just have to, as you use sounds more, you just know where you want to go with them. So I'm going to do some quick EQ work with it. And now I'm going to go into the piano roll and just listen to the background loop for a minute and just start plugging things in that I think sound good. That's really all it comes down to whenever it comes to making melodies. You have to just feel something or listen to it in your head enough times that you're like, oh, I think this would sound cool. So that's what I'm just doing right here, just figuring out what sounds good. Just clicking notes and figuring out what sounds good. And I came up with this. So that's what I want for my first melody. So I'm just going to copy and paste it over by using the Control B function. And now it's time for me to add another melody. So I'm going to go into Sakura, another stock plugin, and go into this instrument called a bright harp. It kind of gives me Gunna vibes. I like it, so I'm just gonna go in, assign it to a mixer track, and come up with a new melody, something that doesn't clash with the old one. So I don't know if you can hear it, but it basically is like a call and response with the first melody that I made. So I'm just going to copy and paste that over and add some effects to it. This is also a free plugin by Valhalla Supermassive. Pancake is another free plugin. And Reverb, of course, comes with FL Studios. So I like that, but I need something to add more beef to it. So I'm gonna go back into Sakura and look for a new sound. So that just gives that second melody more body to it. And I like where I'm heading, but I wanna add one more melody. I like to always have about like 3 melodies in my beats because like if you just have 2 or 1, like it just becomes way too repetitive too quickly. So I'm gonna go back into Flex and look for something. I know I want a bell sound because Playboi usually, or Pierre usually has a lot of bells in his beats. So I like this. It's not conventional, but I like it. So I'm gonna go in and just start listening to it and figure out what I want. Going back in and doing some work on the EQ. I always just EQ all my sounds because it's never perfect. So as you see, I came up with like this oscillation sound. Yeah, lowering it down an octave really made it hit harder to me. So that is pretty much it with the melodies. Now it's time to get into the drums. So I'm going back into that Summer Walker drum kit, and I am going to be getting a hi-hat and adding a MIDI. I didn't feel like going in and figuring out some hi-hats for myself, because that can take a while. Like if you're a person that really likes hi-hats, like it can take you a good like amount of time to come up with something that you like. So I just decided to use a MIDI and just take out some stuff I didn't like those hi-hats right there. I just decided to delete them. So now I'm gonna go in and add a snare. This is from the Nate the Producer drum kit, also free. And I always just base my snare off my claps and my hi-hats. Not much to do, like to explain with it. You just have to basically figure out where you want to add your own snares to. So now I'm going to go in and just add some perks. These are just some percussion like sounds. So I'm adding an open hi-hat just to add some more spice to the drums. I'm going to add some percussion sounds to it. So now I am basically done, but the last thing I need to do is add a kick and an 808. So I go back into the Nate the Producer drum kit and just start feeling out where I want to put them kicks. I feel like the kick should really emphasize the beat. So you kind of want to space them out. You don't want them all too close to each other. So this is the kick pattern that I came up with. So this gives it like enough space for the artist to like rap on it. You don't want too busy drums. So now I'm going into Kyle Beats Andromeda kick and adding a nice like fat bouncy 808. So I'm going to tune this by going into Edison, using detect pitch regions, and I see this on E2, which is wrong. That is out of tune. So I'm going to go back in here and see how it's highlighted on blue on C5. I just changed it to E5. So now the 808 is in tune. So now I'm just going to go up like all the way to C6, C7, sometimes even just to so I can hear the 808 and make sure it's in tune with the rest of the melodies. I have my 808 follow my kick, but I did not in this case. I just was using this basically as another melody. So I like that, but I want to spice it up some more. So I'm going to go ahead and add some triplets to some of these 808s. So I just use the splice tool to cut it up. And it adds some more bounce to it. So I'm going to add a triplet here again. And I'm going to add a half, like cut this in half basically. So it's just nice extra bounce. So I'm basically done with that. I'm not going to keep it up in this octave. So I'm going to have to drop it down like 2. This is how it sounds. The kick on this and the 808 on cut itself just to make it sound cleaner, and this is basically what I came up with, giving it a little stank face. So now I just have have to arrange this beat. I'm gonna show you guys the arrangement right now. And this is what I came up with, just having the background by itself in the beginning, and then just basically adding almost everything in the front, like after the little intro, the 8-bar intro, doing 16 counts of that, and then just dropping stuff out on the later 16 counts. As you can see, I rendered a lot of the melody into audio clips just because it saved me some CPU. I did a break where there's basically no audio, and then just basically repeated it over. But what I did do at the very end is just do like basically a tempo switch up. See how it's like significantly slowed down than the same section? I'm gonna show you guys how I did that. It's pretty simple actually. So I'm gonna show you by copying the background, dragging it here, and just playing it for you so you can hear how it sounds originally. So now to make it sound slowed down without actually changing the tempo, you have to make sure that stretch is on, and you just click it and start dragging it. And it sounds like this now. So that's what I did. I added another drum pattern and just stretched that out. And that is how you make a Pierre Bourne type beat. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you want any more content. Like, comment, subscribe, and I have the full beat coming for you right about now. Thank you.
Chizzy.